Welcome back to Starticus Chats. It's Alistair Cameron from Starticus, and we are joined by Jared from Legitimate. Jared, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
My posture isn't too positive here. I need to change. My feet angle. Am I still in shot? Okay, happy days. Jared, tell us a little bit more about Legitimate.
Yeah, so Legitimate's primary focus is to combat disinformation and online abuse. And what we want to do is provide a centralised hub that people can visit and browse content with the reassurance that it comes from a real and verified person. And how we do that is we give journalists and politicians an electronically verified profile. Then they can fill in some extra information on the back end, and we then go out across the internet and pull in all their content into their profile, which verifies exactly what belongs to them and what doesn't. So we then share that information via API with any company that wants to consume it. So for instance, Facebook, Twitter, or any other platform that links are shared on, the second that link is shared via our API, we could display who the author is, everything else that they've ever published, who they've written for, and basically provide readers on those platforms with all the information they need to make a more informed decision about how much they should trust a piece of content long before fact-checking can take place. So we're not necessarily verifying the content of an article. What we want to do is just provide as much more information about who wrote it and where it came from.
So you're not validating what someone's perception of truth might be. It's more that you're validating that content has come from a reputable source.
Exactly, and over the last few years, there has been a lot more of a shift towards op-ed and opinionated content online. So there's a lot of the time where something isn't necessarily factually untrue. It's just maybe not giving the full picture. And we didn't want to go down the road of necessarily starting to cherry pick what we thought was true or false. We want to leave that up to the experts in that area. What we want to do is just give readers a lot more information that when they go to read an article, they can tell whether or not it is maybe slightly slanted to one way or another, or that they're aware that it's actually from a real person.
Yeah, and this is a big problem. And how did you come up, or how did you first envisage that you would be able to kind of try and solve this problem? Because, to me, it sounds like, wow, this is a lot to do.
Yeah, I guess going back to the 2016 US election and right up to date, we started seeing more and more of our friends and relatives and people who are very smart and intelligent, but sharing content that you could see that was, in our opinion, obviously manipulated or fake. And a lot of the time they were very believing of it, and actually went down these kind of spiraled routes. So what we wanted to do was look at how can we sort of fix this. There's no one else looking at it. How can we do it? And fact checking is there, and it's great and it plays its part, but it's also slow. And if an article is shared online, it can be days before it's actually fact checked, and by then the horse is kind of bolted. So we decided, well, if you're able to actually just see this article is from a real person and that person's willing to put their identity behind it, then that immediately forms some level of trust. And then if you can see what else they've written, you can form your own opinion about how much you should actually, or what your weighting is that you should apply to this article.
So I'm wondering what the commercialization strategy is here. How are you going to end up making money from
revenue?
This?
Yeah. So originally we wanted to fix this issue, and our goal wasn't revenue driven. But with every startup, you have to make money.
Yeah.
And where we see this generating revenue is from the PR industry. So I guess everything that we offer, that we've discussed so far, we want that to be free and open, that everyone can use it. And then behind the scenes, what we're actually doing is building the biggest network and community of journalists in the world. And that hasn't existed, and it's been very much overlooked to date. And when we have that community, what we want to do then is go out to the PR industry and disrupt it by offering tools that make it a lot easier for PR professionals to contact and interact with journalists. Up until now, that relationship has been very much one way. It's been the PR industry driving that, and there's never been a focus on the journalists, and we want to really switch that around.
Beautiful, and I can see why that would work as well. And I'm guessing like a paywall in a sense, obviously, between obviously the PR and obviously that community that you mentioned.
Yeah, so how it would work is, at the minute, thousands of companies around the world are paying these PR companies to distribute press releases, and they're paying for databases. A lot of the PR companies are paying for databases of journalists that are mainly scraped information off the internet and highly inaccurate. Journalists change jobs all the time, and you're downloading a database. A week later, it's even more out of date than it was when you actually purchased it. What we want to offer is a tool where you can pay, instantly have access to thousands, millions of journalists in real time. So as you do a search, you know it's 100% accurate. And you can create your press release and distribute it directly through our platform instead of emailing it. And when you do that as well, you're also ensuring that the journalist is getting all the information they require to take your press release and turn it into an article.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and obviously, and I'm looking at the kind of democratizing in a sense, obviously opportunity for new journalists that are coming through that you have validated to receive something that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have, because they're not in that circle or that loop with the existing PR companies that do generally send out press releases to the same, reputable journalists that they know of. But you're adding that validation, obviously, from the tech end as well.
Exactly, and so for especially freelancers and people just starting out, they can verify themselves, create a profile, and then they're instantly going to open themselves up to PR professionals that are looking for people that write in their space. They can be found and contacted without the need of creating a Twitter profile and trying to build it up or doing your own outreach. They get that instantly.
Absolutely love it. And where are you at now? What do you need right now as a business?
Yep, so we're currently just raising our first round of funding. We have investors committed. We're going through the legal process, and within the next few weeks we hope to have the money in the bank, and then it's scale. We've already got maybe 8 positions that we want to hire for, and then officially kind of roll out with a big launch, hopefully this summer.
Amazing, and it's great for you to have us, have you be with us at the Startup Zone at Digital DNA. This is why it's so important for us to have startups that are not just early stage, but kind of you see the pathway of where you're going to be 12, 18 months time. So we hope you come back, and obviously then you can showcase to the startups that are in this zone 12 months from now, and obviously you can then pass on the experiences you've had.
I would love to do that, and I came here as just a tech enthusiast before COVID, and visited all of the companies, and now I'm coming back and I'm seeing those companies with bigger stands now, or some of them that have exited and now they're going to do new companies, and so that's really inspiring as well, and hopefully in a few years we can sort of be at that next level.
Totally. So Jared and Kiva, obviously from Legitimate, it's awesome for you to be with us today. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to kind of tracking your journey 12 months from now, obviously, so check out legitimate.io.
Thanks very much, Alistair. Thank you.